Rick Levin is an auctioneer of real estate, and Rick, I've been to some of your other auctions. We're out here today at Galewood Crossing on the west side of Chicago because you've got an interesting set of auctions coming up in June. Some of the properties here and others. Tell me about what you've got going on.
Sure. We've got a series of developer closeout auctions at the end of June. On June 23rd, we've got an auction for developers in Lombard and in Grays Lake and in Libertyville. We've got both condos and townhomes. The next night on the June 24th, we've got condos in from a developer in Mount Prospect, 22 condos, and we've got some row homes that evening in Mount Prospect as well. We've got the last remaining 4 condos in Schiller Park. We've got a vacant home site in Lincolnshire from a bank, and we've got another vacant parcel in Chicago that evening from a bank as well.
So what do all these properties have in common? You've got a lot of new construction, townhouses, single-family homes, condos, all up for auction. What do they have in common?
Typically what they all have in common is they have owners who are motivated and are realistic and want to sell the property sooner rather than later, and are prepared to give buyers really good values if buyers are willing to step forward right now and make them real offers.
What do you mean they're motivated? Are they in foreclosure?
No, most of the developers aren't in foreclosure. As a matter of fact, most of the developers are quite successful and have been in business for a long time and intend to stay in business. And one of their ideas of doing that is to sell inventory that has been slow to sell, as most real estate has in the country, that has been slow moving, and they hope to accelerate that process by putting together some developer closeout auctions to make that process happen in a more timely fashion.
And as a buyer, I can get some kind of a bargain, right?
I think as a buyer right now, you can get a great value on any piece of real estate you buy, as long as you're making sure that you're buying from a sincere, motivated seller. And all of these sellers have been quite qualified as just that. Sellers who are prepared to give buyers really good values at these auctions. Many of the properties are to be sold absolute regardless of price, no matter how low.
How does that work? Could I actually come in and say $5?
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely come in and say $5. Chances are there'll be someone there that says $10 and someone else that says $20, and eventually, wouldn't you know it, we have an auction going. Our experience, though, is that people do get good values at these real estate auctions because people demand it, and there's no reason to expect anything different. If buyers who are very hard to come by right now want to buy a piece of real estate, they are going to insist on getting a concession, and the concession that most buyers want is a good deal, and the seller is aware of it and we're aware of it, and we're inviting people in and saying we've got beautiful subdivisions from Chicago to Mount Prospect to Lombard to Grays Lake to Libertyville to Schiller Park, and we've got sellers who are prepared indeed to give people the price that they name if people do the time and effort to investigate these opportunities and step forward.
Tell me this, Rick, why can't I just go to the builder? Why is it that the builder needs to put it up at auction? Couldn't I just walk into a builder and say, I'm serious, you're serious, give me a nice 30% discount?
Yeah, I think you could do that. The problem is, of course, getting to that exact price. Sellers want, of course, a few bucks more, and buyers want to pay a few bucks less, and it's getting the two to meet that has become so difficult. Typically, there used to be a difference between, say, 10% of what a buyer wanted to pay and a seller wants to sell for. Today, the disparity could be 20 or 30% or greater, and getting to that exact number, getting it on paper with a done deal, has become the difficult task. And the auction, of course, brings these parties together in an open, transparent setting where that number is actually achieved. And then both parties can say, okay, that is the number.
Oh, that's great. Okay. We talked a little bit about this community, this development, but here we are. We're now in the sales center. These are, for the most part, everything that you've got on the auction is completed. Am I buying anything unfinished? Do I need to do anything to it?
Nothing's unfinished that you're going to be buying. Most of the units are completed, and some of the units that aren't completed will be completed prior to closing if you end up buying that unit at the auction. As a matter of fact, if you pick one of those unfinished units, depending on what development we're in, you can pick out the color of carpet and the color of countertops and some other finishes from the standard product. What people have have to do, though, is they have to check the bidder's information package, which is available at the open houses for the specific property they're interested in, so they can see the types of finishes that are available. But we're not asking anybody to finish it on their own. A quality builder will finish all the units prior to them closing. And again, most of the units are already completed.
And one of the things you mentioned to me earlier is one reason I should buy from a builder at auction is the builder, all these builders are going to be sticking around, they're offering a warranty, right?
Correct. All the builders have been in business for many, many years. You can do your homework, you can check them out with the municipality that you're looking at, that the product is located in. They all have fine references and have been around, like I said, for a long time, and they're all standing behind their workmanship even after the closing. So it's you can buy in confidence from these people. It's not so much mechanical problems with the properties. The problem, if anything, has been the soft real estate market, which has really lowered the tide for all real estate sellers, including builders.
And these are builders with a larger number of properties to sell than I might as an individual person selling my own single-family home.
Typically, a builder has dozens, if not hundreds, of properties at any given time that they want to sell. A private seller may have one. This is a great way, of course, for a seller to move a large amount of properties in a timely fashion.